remember that gig. And quite honestly, my only memory of that gig was it 71?
72.
72. I remember driving to the gig past a line of people outside the gig, at least half of whom were throwing up.
She makes me see my world from Tokyo. She's so good to me. Talk about her like a queen, dancing in an instant dream.
Do the journalists often start asking you about the good old times?
Yeah, well, good old times is one thing, but you know, there's good new times as well. So the great thing is that we're still around to people be interested enough to ask questions. You know, I mean, there's a lot going on in our lives right now, and you've got to balance it out with what went on before. So the book just gets bigger and bigger. So it's great. I've got some hilarious stories that I like telling. I've got a book of anecdotes on my website. From things with Deep Purple, from my own band, from the days I was with Black Sabbath, and I think to a certain extent we treasure those things. We don't get maudlin about it. We're not sitting there like, you know, just talking about the old days all the time. But it is interesting now and again to reflect on those things, yeah, because they were incredible times.
Great to see you again. Thank you very much. Thank you. Nice to be back in Helsinki. We love you.
You mentioned Black Sabbath before. What do you think about their reunion, which happened a couple of years back?
Well, it was kind of weird because that sort of happened through the Ozfest happening a few times, and the only real reunion was when Bill Ward managed to make it out of the clinic for more than a month, and without having an anxiety attack. Black Sabbath, the original four, with Bill and Tony and Geezer and Ozzy, are just unique. I mean, they're complete nutters, a lot of them. I love them very much. And I think they've given more to music than people generally think. It's not just a question of their attitude, but they're larger than life characters. But also, I mean, if you look at the entire grunge movement was born out of Tony Iommi's guitar riffs. I mean, I don't know anyone who would even begin to disagree with that. I mean, the entire thing was born out of his style of playing. Because for a guy who chopped his fingers off in a bench press and then worked with rubber fingers, I think he's done pretty well.
The writing process is really a piece of evolution that only happens when the five of us really are together. It's very difficult to write a Deep Purple song without the others being there. You know, you can sit at home and go, well, I think we should do this, and everyone comes in with the odd idea, but whatever idea you come in with invariably gets changed by the process, this sort of chemical process that goes on, which is really based on playing. It's about spontaneity. You can get an idea, and by the time everyone plays it, it's a completely different idea. And it grows and changes, and sometimes grows into something that you could not have imagined when you were. Occasionally you get recognised, and it's usually a sort of awkward moment because you don't expect it. It usually happens in a supermarket or something like this. Yeah. Someone comes up and goes, "Hey, Deep Purple," and you go, "Oh, hi," and just handshake. And I'd run out of milk one Sunday morning, and I threw on a T-shirt, which happened to be a Deep Purple T-shirt. I didn't think about it. And I was in my local supermarket with my milk, and waiting in line to pay, and the guy behind me said, Deep Purple. And I thought, oh, here we go. And I was halfway around, and he said, yeah, they're not as good as they used to be. And I said, oh no, you're right, mate, or something like that. But which is interesting, because now I'd argue with him.
Do fans often crave the old hits, or do they like the old hits better than the new songs?
Neither. The fans that come along are very aware of what goes on. They trust us to play what we feel good playing. There's a great element. There's three elements to the show, really. The first element is the old songs. And we always do a decent number of old songs, but we have a flexible roster of old songs, so they're not the same all the time.
Yeah.
The second level is a whole good degree of new songs, and those new songs are generally based on recent albums and whatever fits into the show. And the third level is kind of obscure stuff, that we like to do from time to time. So the thing is that we avoid being fashionable like the plague, because to be fashionable is to be dead tomorrow.
My brother from Tokyo, she makes me see. My brother from Tokyo, she's so good to me.
So you've been around for about 30 years with Deep Purple, and how do you think the music industry has changed during that time?
Yeah, industry is really the word. It's a horrible word. Music and business are uncomfortable bedfellows, usually. But they are nonetheless necessary to each other. I remember being a kid in school thinking that, it's very difficult to make it because there were so many bands around. And there was a great deal of competition. In retrospect, there probably wasn't anywhere near the competition there is now. And also, it's much more financial driven.
Yeah.
Everything now, the bottom line is you have to earn the money.
I think that music business has changed a lot because the media has changed. People basically follow the trends that their friends follow, and their friends follow those trends because they're taught to follow a certain trend. When music videos came up, there was instantly a shift from how something sounded to what the artist looked like. Stations like yours that take the time to interview bands that are doing a wide range of things helped to bring the music business back to some of the depth that I think has been lost by that.
But I'm at home and I just don't belong. So far away from the garden we love.
John once said in an interview a couple of years back that it's very depressing to be a young rock star and not have time to enjoy it. Are things better these days?
Well, it's very depressing to be an old rock star, I tell you, because there's not much time left to enjoy it. There's another way of looking at it.
I don't know what John was referring to, but it's probably the fact that when you're 17 or 16 or 15, you get given a guitar or a kit of drums for your birthday, and by 18 or 19 you've got a lawyer, an accountant, a manager, a record company, and a video, and then by the time you're 20 it's all over. We all started in bands in school about the same age, but it took us many, many years to actually achieve any kind of success. And those years were spent really traveling, doing clubs, gigs, and some bad times, some good times. But they were formative years. I think that era is long gone. I think that we're in the era of instant gratification now. And if you get a guitar, you're expected 1 year later to be able to master it. And it's not really that way. That's why drum machines and computers and synthesizers are a big help, because they can make musicians out of people who really shouldn't be.